As I started laying out the materials for this project, I've quickly come to the realisation that I'm going to have to start work on the barrel sections of it first, mainly because where the barrel attaches to the main assembly of the drive mechanism. So it's going to be a lot easier to work out if I've got a universal drive shaft that either one of the barrels can connect to, and it should just be a matter of sliding one off and sliding the other one back on to get that 2-in-1 idea working for me. Now that I've got the discs cut out, I've got to get them to the right size so that it all starts fitting together properly. The ones you can see here are the 3 spaces. I've just got them stacked up together so that all the holes perfectly align. Once I've got that done, I've bolted them together so that I can sand them back, and that gives me 3 pieces that are now completely identical. There's 2 versions of the cup type piece that I'm making here. One piece connects to the drive assembly and the other piece is a transition point between the 2 different sizes of barrels. Then I've got the 3 pieces stacked up there again and drilling them out so that the holes maintain the same position. Just a very quick alignment test to make sure that the spacing is right. One of the things I'm doing is a little bit different in that I'm actually making these parts up and press fitting them. So you'll notice that there's no welds in here or any joinery of any kind, and that's because I've been able to make this part up to such a neat fit that it jams inside that outer tube so tightly that it becomes a solid piece. And because there's going to be no mechanical stresses on the part, that's going to be more than enough tension in there to hold together when it comes to the full assembly of it. I've continued that theme across into how I'm assembling the barrel pieces. In the research I've done, I've seen a few people who have tried to make these out of PVC tube and things like that. And one of the problems they strike when they come to put the spacer pieces together, with the tubes passing through each hole, they have a tendency to want to spiral and end up crooked under the torque of the assembly spinning. So to get around that, I'm using the same principle of using a smaller tube to jam down inside the larger tube, and that is such a tight fit that it can't move. And then the holes that I've put in there are only large enough to accommodate the smaller tube, so that when they're actually assembled, it looks like a continuous piece that actually passes through the centre of it, but what it really is that large piece with a small piece passing through like that, and then it's capped off there to finish that part of the barrel. You can see there that's not the right size, that's the next step down. But I thought I'd just give you a quick look at that before I put that last piece in, so you can see how I'm getting it all put together. For the last part in the forward series of barrels, I'm using a piece of thread bar that's just the right gauge to self-tap into the tube that's there. And I've made these holes a little bit smaller so that they tap through that hole as well. That will add a little bit of needed weight to the forward section of it, and threading that last rod on rather than hammering it on should make that final assembly a lot tighter as well. Now that I've got the assembly worked out for that front half, I'm just attaching the rear section of the barrels, and the tube that I'm using for that is a larger diameter, so they need to be attached to the ones at the front. The tape is just to hold everything at the right level so that I can get them riveted into place, and then that collar piece will slide up and all those joints are hidden from view. Just using my calipers to make sure that the spacing is even all the way around, and then I'm just attaching that final piece so that it can't move around at all. This is what I'm going to be using as the central drive shaft that I was talking about earlier. Because I need to do some welding on this piece is actually made from stainless steel instead of the aluminium, and the piece that I've got jammed in the end there is the piece that will go into the head of the drill. So to give you an idea, it will slide down the centre like that. In this instance it continues all the way through. Now that I've got that bit sorted, it's on to working out the next barrel, and once I've got both barrel pieces sorted out, I can then start working out the main drive mechanism in the body of the gun. I'm pretty happy with the way this is coming together so far. There's still an awful long way to go though for what I want to achieve. But that's the update for this time, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.